Welcome to the Chew on This podcast. Join your host, Dr. Katie Chew, and her guests as they chew on what matters, one story at a time.
Well, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Chew on This podcast. And I'm your host, Dr. Katie Chew. And today I have a special guest, Torrian Scott.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent, Dr. Chew. Thank you so very much for having me on this amazing podcast.
You're welcome. I am honored to have you be here because we do share a little bit of some authorship.
A little bit.
Yeah. And why don't you go ahead and tell my followers a little bit about how we first, I guess, collaborated.
Absolutely. Well, we first met through a text thread whenever Tiana, our mutual friend, asked us to be on this amazing project in which we've written a book called Faith, Business, and Friendships. Mm-hmm. And so I'm so excited because we first met that way. And, you know, as I got on different calls with you and heard your story, a little bit of it, I was like, this woman is solid. And I loved your journey. I love where you are. I love your professionalism. And of course, I've been kind of, low-key stalking the Chew on This podcast a little bit, seeing you not only here at your base, but also in other states and everything. And so it's amazing. It's a pleasure to be with you.
I think we should give a shout out to Atlanta, right?
Yes, Atlanta,
Georgia.
Shout out.
So, but before we start going into the normal format of the hard chews and the soft chews,
yes,
I would love you to share a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a rich history.
Yes,
and you touched a lot of lives, and so I want you to share that.
Of course. Well, gosh, where do I begin? I was born at a very young age.
How young?
Well, just young, very new. But I grew up in Houston, Texas, and that's where I have my roots. My mom had me when she was 19 years old. My biological father was never in my life. My stepfather stepped in, and he is my father. He is my dad. He's the one that raised me. But we went through a lot of hardships, growing up. And very early in life, actually this weekend of this taping, it's Easter weekend. And I remember giving my life to Jesus around this time, on Easter. And I remember just hearing, because I went to a Baptist church, and one of the things that our pastor used to always do was what we call it hooping back in the day. They call it hooping, like where he kind of sings and preaches at the same time. And he used to always say, he died, didn't he die? But he got up. And for whatever reason, that really touched my heart. It really got.
And how old were you?
I had to be about 6 years old.
Okay.
I had to be very, very, very young.
Yeah.
And so God was introduced into my life very early. And I used to, go to church with my grandmother and my mom. Whenever they started getting into the things of God, started going to another church with them after my grandmother passed away. And I really had this heart that I was going to help people. I don't know why. I just wanted to help people. I wanted to make people's lives better. I wanted to let people know that there was something greater in them. And so over the years, my goodness, I've been in ministry, I've been in business, I'm still in ministry and in business. I have helped people in different ways learn, number one, what their purpose is, how to develop their potential, and how to dominate in their place of leadership. And so I'm an executive coach, leadership developer. I love people, and my clientele ranges from CEOs, mayors, NBA coaches, entrepreneurs, small business owners, large business owners, and I've had the opportunity to travel pretty much a little bit around the world doing what I'm doing. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Wow. And I was, when you were mentioning all the different types of, people that whose lives you've touched or help, you mentioned something about NBA coaches and all that.
Yes.
So my older daughter is in the sports industry.
Oh, nice.
And so, I always know that, because she works for a sports agency, and that is an area where, a lot of players, she works with NFL football players, and, coaching is important.
It's very much so.
And not just on like finances. I mean, because that's important too, right? Because you're going from a college football player to going professional, and so I know that they have a lot of people helping them with the finances, but coaching them to be a leader.
Yes, that's
and
huge.
finding their purpose.
Yes,
is extraordinary.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
And so thank you for what you've been doing for all these people.
Of course.
All right, so are you ready for the soft chews and hard chews?
Let's go.
Okay, so I'm going to have you pull a question from the easy bag.
Okay, the easy bag.
The easy bag.
Let's see.
And let's see what we get, and we're going to each take turns answering whatever you pull out there.
Okay, so you want me to read it? Or
yes, you go ahead and read it.
What's something you've said yes to recently that made life more fun? Wow. I think there's a lot of things that I've said yes to. I think the biggest thing that I've said yes to recently that's made my life more fun is having my sons and my daughter in sports. So they've been in sports for a long time, but this is the first time that all three of them are in sports together.
Oh,
okay. So not on the same teams, but my oldest, he plays on the JV basketball team for his high school. He's also in AAU. My daughter, she just made the track team.
Okay.
And so she's running track. She previously played volleyball. And then my youngest son, he actually is not only playing football, but he's playing basketball at the same time. So exactly.
So I'm just thinking about you and your wife. How are you splitting your time with all the meets and games and practices?
It is great. I don't know. I still don't know. And this is a miracle that I'm actually here right now because, of course, this weekend is the weekend. And so there's a lot of people that don't have a lot of sports things going on. But generally on Saturdays, we're at football games or basketball tournaments, or now the track meet is about to start. So it's made our life more fun, more interesting, because it's wonderful to see all of our kids excel in something they're extremely passionate about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And to be able to have the time to be there for them.
Yes.
That was one of the things that was difficult for me because I was a single parent for a long, long time. And my children, they were engaged in, sports and dance and all that. And a lot of times the competitions or the performances would be on Saturdays. And as an optometrist, Saturdays is your busiest day.
Right.
Right. And so I did miss a lot of their events.
Yep.
And but when I ended up getting diagnosed with cancer later on when they were in middle school, that changed things around.
Yeah.
And I ended up, not working on Saturdays. And so I was able to be part of their lives in terms of all those wonderful, sporting events and dance performances and things like that. Okay, absolutely. I need to read that question one more time for me. What's something you've said yes to recently that made life more fun? Gosh. It's hard for me to answer this just because I think I'm a yes person.
Okay.
And I've been learning to say no more.
Yeah.
And I think in answer to this question, I think just spending time with my aunt. She's older than my father, and so she's in her late 80s.
Okay.
And it's weird to say that it's fun, but her and I, we're so much alike. We're so much alike.
Wow.
And she knows it too.
Yeah.
And so we can have endless conversations. And so so I've been really busy these last few months, and so when she asked me to go over recently, I mean, I couldn't say no, and it wasn't because of obligation or anything. I just know that, when I do go and see her, it's a good time.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a good time.
That's very good.
The generation gap between us, there is no gap.
Wow.
Because we're very similar.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And isn't it amazing that we've both said yes to something that has to do with family, and makes it more fun?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's maybe how we're kind of family centric, I guess,
Right,
or people
right,
centric.
right. Absolutely.
And so, yeah. All
Absolutely.
right. So that was an easy one.
Yes.
We're going to pull
Okay, we're
hard.
gonna pull the hard ones. Okay.
Okay. Sometimes they're kind of bundled up into, I'm trying to get only one out. All right. What part of life do you think people misunderstand the most until they experience it themselves?
Ooh.
What part of life do you think people misunderstand the most until they experience it themselves? Well, I know this one. You want me to go first?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, when I think of people misunderstand the most until they experience it's raising children,
Yes. Very
raising
true.
children,
Very true.
right?
Yeah.
Because until they walk in our shoes, it's I don't want to use the word challenging, but we all know that we don't have a parent guide.
Right, right.
And so everything that we're doing, we're kind of just not winging it, but we're doing the best we can
right.
with what we know,
True.
right? And so sometimes I think when people don't have kids, they may not realize how we have a lot to juggle and to have these little human beings that we're responsible for.
Right.
And I think what I'm thinking more of is like in a corporate world, some of my friends, it's like they always feel like it's hard for them to take time away because even though there's policies in place for them to take time away, but they always still feel like they're being judged.
Yep.
And so they end up not taking time.
Yeah.
And so, I think if the corporate world or can kind of understand until they're put into that position where you have employees that have families, maybe they can change their policies a little bit more, or make it so that the employees don't feel judged,
right,
or stuff like that.
Right.
So, but that's my answer.
That is awesome, and the reality, you're definitely speaking truth. I remember, me and my wife, we got married. We'll be married 18 years in May, and so we got married very young of all of our friends. So we had kids, very young before some of them, and so same situation. They would call, us or my wife or whatever the case might be, and they hear kids yelling in the background, and they're just trying to have their, conversation with us, telling us who they dated and what their date was like, and this is like, and they're like, you know what, I can't take this anymore. Like, call me back when you're free. Like, okay, we'll call you in 18 years, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely agree with that. For me, since you took the parent role, I'm gonna say being a leader, or an owner or an entrepreneur, a person who takes responsibility for an organization.
Yeah.
And the reality is that you really don't know the pressures that come as an owner. You were just telling me about your practice. For you to be in business for 30 years, regardless if you have a doctorate or not, it's very hard to be in business just for 5 years. I agree. We all know that. The statistics are out there, and it's actually speeding up now because technology is going so fast. It's very hard for people to stay in one particular practice or one particular segment or lane of business for a very long time. And so the pressures that come in leadership are very daunting, and it's very easy for a person to think, oh, I can do it better, especially a person who's never been in a seat of like ownership leadership, like being the CEO of an organization or the founder of an organization that's growing, that's scaling. A lot of people who are working within the system or within the organization will say, oh, why did they make that decision? Well, I've been told this a long time ago, is that the CEO or the leader is like the captain on an airplane, and everybody else who's in the organization is in the passenger seats. There's only one vantage point. You can only look right or left. You don't see the whole expanse of what's actually coming and what's in front of you. And so there's been plenty of times I know that I've been in a situation where it's like, why did they make that decision? Why did he make that decision? And it wasn't until I got into the seat of a leader or the seat of owner or being responsible for an organization that I recognized, oh, That's why. I'll tell you this quick story. Um, I remember there was an organization that I worked for in Houston, Texas, and I loved this organization. And when it was time for me to go, I gave it my month's notice and all of those different things. And I got a letter probably within like a week or two that said that it was in the best interest of that organization to let me go before my time. And so I was very upset, and I was very discouraged because I'd spent a lot of time in this organization. It was the church that I went to. Okay, pretty much. I mean, by this time, it's so long ago. But I was very discouraged, Dr. Chu, because I was like, I love this church. I grew up in this church. I've been going to this church since I was in third grade.
And you felt very
I
devoted
felt very
to it.
devoted. If you cut me, I'm going to bleed this church.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love the leaders. I love the ministry. I love what it's done for my family. I mean, I love her. But I never saw myself being let go. And that's how I interpreted it. Well, the pastor called me and cleared it up. I was like, oh, no, you didn't get let go. This is what we're doing. The reality is that you said that you were about to leave and you wanted to go on and do some other things. So we're just letting you go, a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And we're going to pay you throughout the end of the thing. So, no issues. But
Well, that's
still,
nice that they
that's nice.
followed up with
A call. Exactly. Just to make sure that there was no, but still, my young heart, I heard all of that, but I still felt the burn. I still felt the sting. I still felt the fact, like, why would you do this to me? How could you do this to me? And I wrote this in my book. I wrote a book prior to our book. It's called Running After Destiny. And I said, in that particular time, the issue with me was I had my own grandiose thoughts of how I was going to leave this organization. Think about this. I grew up in this organization since I was in third grade, and I went off to college, and I came back, and I wanted to be, venerated. I wanted to be propped up. I wanted to be sent out. I had all of these grandiose thoughts of how it should be done. But when it wasn't done like that, my feelings got hurt. And that's one of the things that I teach people, is that the reason why people get hurt is because your experience did not meet your expectation. And in that middle, that's where all of the issues and all of the disgruntledness and all of those different things happen. So, Dr. Chu, some years later, I had left that organization, of course, moved here to California. I was in a position of leadership in which people were reporting to me. I was a manager, and there was a person that was there that had been there for a very long time in this organization, and they decided to leave. And I was like, you know what? They gave their notice and everything. I said, you know what? I think it was a month. I was like, here we are. Let me do it like I should have done it. They should have done it for me. So I let him stay out his whole month. And during that month, could I tell you, that man left so much poison in that department to the point where the whole department left with him.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So because when you were let go,
Right.
When they told you this was your last day, it was your last day.
Yeah.
Whereas when
I was like, you know what? I want to do it like they should have done it for me. I'm going to give him the whole month. And, but that whole, I was like, oh my goodness. But you know what? It brought to me, it was a lesson.
Yeah.
It helped me to understand, you know what? That wasn't personal. It's just people. The reality is that sometimes when people are on their way out, they try to take as many people with them. As many times as they say, oh, it's okay, it's great, it's fine, I love this place, or whatever the case is. But all the while, that person was poisoned the well, telling how much he was so unhappy with what things were being done and how things were being done. And, people who were loyal to that person was like, well, if he's leaving, I'm leaving too. It was a mess. And so it really got me to understand.
So that was a huge lesson learned.
It was a huge lesson learned for me. So, it's not personal. It's just people. You just have to protect it.
I like that.
Yeah.
That it's not personal. It's just people.
It's just people.
It's just people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Time for a soft chew.
A soft chew. Let's go. I like these.
Don't take it personal. It's just people.
Yeah. It's just people. That's how the nature of people are sometimes. Okay. What's your version of a perfect ordinary day? Oh my goodness. My version of a perfect ordinary day is I wake up to the smell of pancakes.
Oh.
Being cooked downstairs along with some ackee and saltfish. So my wife is from Jamaica.
Okay, but what kind of sausage did you say?
Ackee and saltfish.
Oh, saltfish.
Saltfish, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, it's a Jamaican dish in which ackee is a type of plant, but it has like a consistency of eggs a little bit.
Okay.
And saltfish is just fish. It's cod fish. And they chop it up together with bell peppers. And oh my gosh, like I can smell it right now. But waking up to that with our kids all around, and we just go after we eat breakfast. Someone washes our dishes, not us. We don't wash the dishes. Someone washes our dishes for us while we take our car down to the beach and just spend a day at the beach, laughing, playing in the sand, going down, walking around, and just enjoying each
you're
other's
already
company.
taking me there.
Exactly.
As you're describing
I was,
everything.
down to Corona Del Mar and just our favorite spot, and just enjoying the day, enjoying each other, and then after that, getting some nice tacos.
Wow, what kind of tacos?
Some carne asada
I was going to say, I'm a carne asada.
asada tacos
Yes.
from, well, I won't call their business name because they would need to endorse you. They send us an endorsement check for that. But yeah, that's my version of a perfect ordinary day.
And what type of salsa do you like to use? I like the green one.
I like the green one too. Yes.
It's like the perfect spice.
It is.
The perfect level
Yes.
of spice.
Yes, and it has like the little lime in it too.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
So good.
Oh my goodness. I didn't have lunch, so now you got me
I
really
know, me
hungry.
neither.
What's your version of a perfect ordinary day? Well, I mean, waking up in the morning and to sunlight.
Yes.
I like to have my curtains open
Okay.
when I sleep.
Okay.
So just having warm sunlight hit my face, that is already beautiful.
Yes.
And then, I don't have anyone cooking in the kitchen for
Right.
me, so I'm not going to wake up with the smell of coffee, although I could set it on a timer and have that going.
Very true.
But I use the pod system.
Oh, yes.
So I have to
Gotcha.
manually put a pod in.
I hear you.
But yeah, and then having a cup of coffee. And, my 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Is a really special time for me. Those 2 hours, I just feel very much at peace. And that's my time with God.
Yes.
And so, if I had any type of business decisions that were brought up to me the day before, I would always wait until the next day because I would use that 6 to 8 a.m. time period to really hear God's voice in leading me.
Yeah.
And because I've realized too that, a perfect ordinary day is when I have full faith that He's guiding me. I mean, that would be a perfect ordinary day for me.
Yeah.
And so yeah, any decision making that I need to do, what pulls at my heart, I know that it's God doing it.
Yeah.
And so I'll make a decision, whether it's a yes or a no, right? And so then after 8, and it's really strange because I've told this to some of my girlfriends, if something comes to my mind at 8:01, that's not God.
Wow.
I won't go with that decision.
Wow.
I'm that clear
Okay.
about it because I've learned to shovel out all the other noise.
Yeah.
And I if it was meant to be, it would have been in that 2-hour period.
Wow. That's interesting.
That's what I've been practicing.
That is
more.
cool.
And that's and so yeah. And I'm not a breakfast person.
Okay.
So and usually a perfect day would then be with spending time with my 2 dogs, and then probably having lunch with a girlfriend.
Okay.
Calling somebody up, and I live in Long Beach,
Okay.
so there's no shortage
LBC.
of restaurants
Right
by the ocean.
Right.
And so again, I don't want to name restaurants,
Right.
but there's quite a few that I can name off. And but yeah, just being out in a sunny California weather
Yes.
with the ocean in sight, and then
Yes.
having a nice lunch with a girlfriend, and then going back home and it's and I would have the dogs with me. But I think I spent a lot of time when I say networking, what I mean by networking is if I go back home, I like making phone calls, but it's not networking as in like business networking. It's connections, but it is a form of netting, right? To keep family and friends still close together, even though not necessarily close to me, but I'm connecting them to other people so that we are, like, I'm a planner.
Okay.
So I would call up people and go, hey, let's do this. Hey, let's plan on this. And so that's what that would make up part of my day, is making all these phone calls to keep people connected. And then for dinner, I would say probably make myself a nice ribeye steak.
Oh, yes.
I love ribeye steak.
Me too.
And I'm a rice person, so I would have it with steamed rice.
Okay.
Make some vegetables,
Yes.
and then have some soup. I love soup.
Nice.
And then watch some Netflix.
Okay. Which show?
Oh my goodness! You know what? I just watched one, and I'm so bad with remembering titles. It was a group of Brazilian women that went to Korea to meet up with their K-drama boyfriend.
Oh gosh.
And I think that's actually the title of the show.
Yeah.
It's a reality show, and I think it's like My K-drama Boyfriend.
Okay. Oh wow.
And my
wife and daughter love these K-dramas. The other day, I put it on my Facebook. I was like, my goodness, I just woke up from my Sunday nap, and my daughter and wife are downstairs watching a K-drama with the English subtitles, but they have it on Spanish. So it is the weirdest thing.
So it's kind of like this, because these 5 women, they're from Brazil.
Okay.
So they have the English subtitle for me to read.
Right.
But at the same time, they're trying to dub it. But sometimes it's not matching completely.
Right.
But you'll still hear them speaking in I think,
Portuguese.
Yep. Yeah. So you can still hear the Portuguese,
Yes.
but they're trying to dub it.
Right.
And so, yeah. But I don't know how we got onto talking about K-drama.
Oh, because it's the perfect day. You're going to end your day with Netflix.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
yes.
it all started with Squid Games.
Yes.
I
love Squid Games.
So I was being judgy. I was like judging my girlfriends who were all watching K-dramas a few years back.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I don't really watch any K-dramas or whatever. And then all of a sudden one day on Netflix, I watched Squid Game.
Yep.
And somehow their algorithm after that started spitting out all these reality shows and things like that, and then K-dramas, but they were all from Korea.
Yeah.
And no, it's been delightful.
Yeah, they do have some good plots though. They really do.
They do.
That's some really good plots.
They do. And it's I don't know how to describe it, but like we have soap operas, right?
Right.
Part of our American culture.
Right.
But this, the way they film it, it's very like high definition.
It is.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, absolutely.
But if you notice the K-dramas, they're dreamy.
They are, very much
the
so.
way they film it,
Yep.
it's in a dreamlike state.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's what's pulling people into like a trance.
Right, a little bit.
And you can't just stop at one episode.
Oh
you
my
gotta
gosh.
Keep
No,
going.
you gotta keep going. Yeah.
Right.
And they have like 1 billion episodes, just to kill somebody off at the end.
Oh, yeah. But it's and the other thing too I noticed about K-dramas is that their drama is very subtle. It's
very much so.
Whereas I think some like I know for like Chinese dramas, I mean, people will be screaming and yelling and throwing things and you know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know. The drama part in K-dramas are a little bit more, I don't know how to describe it, but it's almost like it pulls you into like a fantasy.
It does.
Right?
It does.
And so All right, we are done with what? That was a soft chew.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go with a hard one.
Okay.
And when has life surprised you in a way that changed your direction?
Wow. When has life surprised? Well, I'm in that right now, actually.
So am I.
Yeah, I'm in
That's
that right now.
literally
Yeah.
what I was thinking was,
Yeah.
this is me right now.
Right now. Yeah.
Okay,
Right now.
you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So, we moved here to California 15 years ago with a suitcase, a stroller, and a car seat. We just knew that God wanted us to move here.
And from Texas.
From Texas. God wanted us to move here from Texas to start a church called Harvest International Church and plant it in Orange County and to do marketplace ministry. And so we knew that, and we moved here strictly on faith. I mean, the whole faith journey was amazing, and
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
What do you mean by marketplace ministry?
So marketplace ministry.
That's new to me.
Okay, so marketplace ministry is what I call my executive coaching and leadership development. So ministry, and that's why this is it's new, and to me it's coming together a little bit more. I don't see any difference between when I'm ministering to a group of congregants to a person who doesn't necessarily have a relationship. We're not talking about Jesus, or we're not talking about ministry, but I'm doing an executive coaching session with them. I see that as marketplace ministry. So ministry outside of the walls of the church, basically helping people outside of the walls, like utilizing my gifts and my talents to bring value and to bring understanding and to help and to serve outside of the four walls of ministry. So that's what marketplace ministry is to me. And so
that's beautiful.
And it's an amazing thing. I didn't know anything about it until God told me. I mean, I hadn't heard the phrase, and then I thought that I was the originator of the phrase until I started doing some research, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm not the originator of this. It's been around for a long time, but that was God's mission for us. And so we came here to California, and for about 4.5 years, I served on staff of another church, and I was one of the executive pastors, or one of the associate pastors, but not the senior pastor. And so I always knew that it was going to be time one day for us to plant our own church. Well, that time came in 2000, and God let me know in 2015 that it was time for me to shift off of that staff and to plant the church. That was 2015, and we planted the church in 2016. So 2016 to 2025, we had our church, so 9 years. And
Where's
in
the
November,
church?
it is in the past now because there is no church anymore. So, and not for any bad reasons or anything of that nature. It was just the season for us leading the church. And for us having the church had come to an end. And like I said, not for any circumstantial reasons.
Correct.
God began to deal with us in 2022
and shifting you.
Yeah,
it's a shift.
I mean, it was a
shift.
huge shift. And so for the longest, Dr. Chu, I mean, you're talking about for a good 20 plus years of my life, I've been in ministry and then had business on the side, or been in ministry, like in a direct role on a staff, leading people or whatever. But now I'm not. So I'm not in that role anymore. And, we let our church know back in October, that we were going to make a shift. And it was so beautiful because God had already started preparing the hearts of those who were coming to the church. And it wasn't like a big church by any means. I mean, we had probably at most 50 people all together.
Yeah.
If everybody came, at the same time, that would be great. But for those who were faithful and all of those different things, we let them know about a month in advance. And many of them were like, God was telling me this, like God already told me that this was going to happen. And it was a beautiful thing. And so November 9th was our very first time of saying our goodbye to everyone.
Of 2025.
Of 2025. And so not even a year. And, but I had to wrestle with, okay, who am I now? Who am I now? I've been categorized as Pastor Torrian for the last 20 plus years of my life. And the Pastor Torrian who does business too. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm no longer categorized as that, or no longer in that particular role. And so that's the new thing that I'm living out right now. Me and my wife, my family, because my family's always been a part of our church, from little kids to where they are running the sound, putting things together, creating slides, putting out chairs, all of those different things. So it's been a real big, I don't even say redefinition, but a redirection of our lives. And we've since then, because we have a lot of friends in churches and everything, we went on what we call a church tour, because we never get, think about it, for 20 plus years, we never got a chance to really visit someone else's church.
So you're
outside of-
touring
yeah,
churches.
Yeah, so I'm touring churches now. So I'm visiting friends and, getting a chance to experience their church services. And it's like, wow, it's amazing. But God led us to a church in San Bernardino that's really doing amazing. And here recently, they just asked me to be on their teaching team. And so
Nice.
that was, so I actually will teach tomorrow have to be at church at 5 a.m., and
tomorrow is Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday, which is huge because, and for me, God has been teaching me that I am who He calls me, and I am who He tells me that I am. And roles don't define me, titles don't define me, seasons don't define me, locations don't define me. He's defined me. And one of the things, and one of the scriptures I love, and I'll pass it on over to you for your answer, is the scripture says, in a home there are different vessels. There's vessels of wood, there's vessels of clay, but there is a vessel that's meet for the master's use. And what that means is that it's useful in any situation. Think about this. A vessel of wood, it can go maybe through the water, but it can't go through the fire because it'll get burned up. There's, something that's of clay. It can go through the fire, but it can't go through the water, So the reality is that there's a vessel that is useful in any situation, in any circumstance, in any, place that the master wants to use. And I feel like that's where God has me now. It's like, I'll use you in the boardrooms. I'll use you in, virtually. I'll use you on stages. I'll use you. Just be available to what I'm calling you to do. So.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Well, can I say congratulations?
Yes, sure.
For tomorrow is your
Yes.
big day on Easter Sunday.
Yeah. They asked me a couple weeks ago too. So, and it's moved so fast, and I don't want to dominate the time, but we started going. We've gone over the years, like backwards, like maybe on a Wednesday night or something like that, but we've never gone on a Sunday. And so we went on a Sunday. And
a Sunday to where?
To this new church.
Oh, to this new church.
Okay.
Okay.
We went on a Sunday, just visiting on our church tour. And all of a sudden, I see someone that I know, but like I'm trying to go to the restroom. So I was like, how you like see somebody in the crowd that but they don't see you. It's like, okay, let me just kind of, do what I got to do. And so as I'm approaching the restroom, their son comes out, and I'm like, hey. I was like, what are you doing here? Because I really thought that he moved. I didn't know that he was in California at all. And he was like, I go here. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, good. He said, you see my parents? I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, hey. So we started talking and everything. And I said, I got to go to the restroom. So I went to the restroom, came back. They said, hey, have you seen Pastor Janet? I was like, who's Pastor Janet? So let me take you to see Pastor Janet. Okay. So I go see Pastor Janet. I recognized Pastor Janet's face, and I was like, oh, how you doing? She was like, what are you doing here? Because she knows that I'm, I was a senior pastor. I was like, well, just visiting, and, just, does Pastor know that you're here? I was like, oh, no. I said, we're just visiting, She's like, let's go back and see him. I was like, oh. So she takes me to the back, and I get a chance to talk and tell him, like, this is where we are now. And he's like, oh, wow. Well, we want to connect you to our senior pastor. Well, little do they know that the senior pastor and I are friends. But we still connected and all those different things. And within a couple of weeks, they said, hey, we would like for you to preach at our Friday morning service, 6 a.m. service for prayer. And I was like, okay. So I did that, went home, took a nap, woke up to a text message that said, hey, ready to preach on Sunday? I was like, which Sunday? They were like, this Sunday.
Wow.
I said, all 3 services? They were like, yes, all 3 services.
Wow.
So that was huge for me.
That is huge.
And so it just, to me, this is my personal, because I was feeling like, who am I? Like, well, what do I do now? Like, I mean, I'm not Pastor Torrian anymore. I mean, I guess I could be. I mean, the gifts and callings are without repentance, but I'm not in that role anymore. You know what I mean? So I was just, who am I? Like, what do I do now? I'm in business, we have companies and all those different things, and I'm still going to do marketplace ministry. But, as far as ministry inside of the walls, like, who am I? And God was just telling me, Torrian, first of all, you're my son. Number two, you're available, and I'm going to take you as far as I want you to go. And it's been amazing to be on this staff, to be not only on the staff, I'm not on staff, but to be on this team, to be a part of the church, to serve, to see my kids grow, to see us plug in and just be welcomed. It's been absolutely amazing. So that's the new exciting redirection that God has us in right now.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Wow. So my answer to this, when has life surprised you in a way that changed your direction? Hands down, God had everything to do with it.
Right.
And when it says surprised, now I'm no longer surprised. But at that time,
right,
when I still didn't know that I was walking with God, that's where the surprise came, right?
Right.
But now everything is so clear. And but I think it's, where I became so clear that what I do in the exam rooms with my patient, and God has now reaffirmed that I've been doing a form of ministry outside of the four walls
Yes.
of organized church,
Yes.
if that makes sense.
Yes. Yep.
My patients, they can sense it, they can feel it.
Yeah.
I don't have to mention God's name.
Right.
But He's in the room with us.
He's in the room, that's right.
And what happens, which is so magical, is that the patients will bring it up. And then once they bring it up, then it opens the door for me to just.
That's right.
I start shining.
Yes.
And it's been beautiful. It's been beautiful. And so everything that I've been doing in terms of like my podcasting, my children's books, these are all God's way of having me spread His message.
Yes.
And this messaging that I'm sharing is that, it's all about connecting with each other, because, human connection in terms of sharing kindness and respect and love, and these are all things that we've forgotten sometimes.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? They're the necessities of humanity, but sometimes we're losing bits of humanity.
Absolutely.
And so those are those little messages, those little nuggets that I have through this storytelling. It gives us a safe space to share about our own journeys, right?
Yeah.
But each of us have a story that actually, in many ways, bring light to God.
Yes, 100%.
Even though we may not be mentioning His name
Absolutely,
sometimes.
100%.
Right? And so that's what I want to share.
Yeah, that's so good. And the scripture says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So many people think that the way to the world's heart is through their ears, but it's not. It's through their eyes. They see something different. They feel something different. They recognize there's a peace about you. They sense it, because we're all spiritual beings. And so the reality is that we can sense it very, very clearly. Think about this. Have you ever been driving down, and maybe some of your followers can remember or understand this. Have you ever been driving down the street and then all of a sudden, like, you feel like, okay, not that it's just not unfamiliar, but it feels like unsafe, like you kind of feel that way. One of my mentors used to always say this, we have trillions of cells in our body. And if you were to put cells in a petri dish, they would gravitate to what's nutritious and they would repel from what is not, actually. That's an actual biological thing. But the reality is that you can sense when somebody is walking with God. You can sense when He's the center of their life. Not that they're perfect, not that, they're, waking up to angels, singing glory, hallelujah, and drinking Capri Suns from heaven. We're not nothing like that. But The
I like
reality
Capri
is,
Suns.
I do too. I do. Okay, here's a hack: Capri Suns and frozen blueberries. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I have not tried that.
Ooh, that's a hack.
Okay,
It's so
okay.
good. Just let it
Frozen
sit for a little while
blueberries.
and just, it becomes like a little slushy. Oh
Oh.
my goodness, so good. Anyways, all right. But let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So they see something different. They sense something different about you, and that opens up the door, like you said, for someone to understand who is leading you.
See, what's also been very, I've learned to appreciate so much of what God has given me is because my practice is in an immigrant community. And in this community, I can speak Cantonese, but there are also a lot of other dialects or languages from other countries that present themselves in my exam room, right? And we connect through sight, like, and through facial expressions and things like that. That there is a love language just from our gestures and our actions, if that makes sense.
Right.
They don't necessarily have to hear
Right.
a spoken word from me because I can't speak their language,
Right.
But it's just been an amazing journey for me because once I realized 30 years of practicing in this type of environment, it had to be all God.
Yep.
God
100%.
God put me here.
Yeah.
In the city of Rosemead
Right.
for a reason.
Yes.
And so I'm so blessed.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, we're going to do one more round.
Okay.
You do a soft chew,
Okay.
and then we'll finish up with a hard chew.
All right. I'm enjoying this conversation. This is great.
This format makes it very easy to just get comfortable.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What kind of people make you feel instantly comfortable?
Oh my goodness. I planted that one.
You did. You did. Look at that. What kind of people make you instantly comfortable? I believe people who have a vision, people that know they have a sense that they are here for something greater than just existing. Like people who are discovering, people who are on a journey of their own. I'm very comfortable, and actually, I'm very comfortable with all types of people, but those people make me very comfortable because those are the people that I'm called to serve. That's who I know that I've been put on this earth to help. When I first started my coaching practice almost 20 years ago, it was small business owners, people who wanted to. This is where it came from. I'm a minister within the church. I have business acumen. I graduated with a degree of business management from Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And, people would gravitate towards me, and I would gravitate toward people who have like ideas. But one of the things that what I would constantly see, especially in the church, is that people would have an amazing idea, but no action. They would have this wonderful concept. They'd have this wonderful, when they tell it to you, it's like, oh my gosh, like this is breakthrough, but they let their lack of education or lack of understanding of how to do it stop them. And that frustrated me because I was like, man, like we are connected to the one who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and rested on the seventh. Like, what do you mean you don't know how to do this? Like, you're connected to the one who's connected to everyone, who created all things. And the idea came from him. So why don't you ask him? You're talking about the same God who told Noah to build a boat in a generation that knew nothing about rain, So the reality is God is the innovator, but we have to be the initiator of how to get it out of us. And so I started coaching people in that. And I kind of got burnt out with that because people would get to a place, we'd be working on it, and then they just get to the point and they just choke. And they said, I can't do it. And guess what happens? Invariably, someone else gets the idea and someone else runs with it. And I always say this, the greatest tragedy is not in life is not death. It's meeting the person that you should have been.
How profound is that?
It is being a customer in the business that you should have owned. It is meeting.
That's tragic.
It's tragic.
It's tragic.
It's being a bridesmaid in the wedding of the man that you should have married. That's tragic.
Oh my goodness.
That's what it is, because people have to understand when it comes down to faith.
They don't seize the opportunity.
Don't seize the opportunity.
And put it into action.
Put it into action. And faith is action. It's not wishing and hoping.
Faith or
It's
fate?
faith.
Faith. I
Yeah,
know.
it's action. It's
It
action.
is.
You have to.
It is.
The Bible says we walk by faith and not by sight. And what I've learned is that there's a lot of believers that are still they're calling it faith, but they're still walking by sight. They're still, oh, look at this. We're in optometry, they're still walking by sight, what they see or what they don't see. What they see in their bank account, what they don't see in their bank account, what they see in their circumstances around them, who's excelling, who's not excelling. They're looking too much at that rather than the idea and the vision that God gave them. And as a result, they miss out on the opportunity to be and to do what God may have sent them here to do.
And that's the path I'm on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that everything that has been, I shouldn't say happening, but in terms of my life in 2025, doing the podcast and the book writing and all that other stuff, and I really do believe that it's trusting in God. It's having that faith.
It is.
Because before, I think I was holding myself back because I was limiting myself with the human feeling of fear, fear of the unknown.
Right.
But once I cleared out, see, that's the noise I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And once I learned to identify it and say, and name it, that this is noise,
yeah,
I shoveled it out and I just said, I have to, if I'm going to believe in God, then I have to give him 100% of my faith that things will work out. And everything has been aligning so well because I believe that he will take care of me.
Yes.
And taking care of me doesn't mean that things will go the way I want it to go. Taking care of me is giving me the lessons that I need to learn from.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So my human mind might define it as what's going on. He's not, this isn't how it's supposed to go.
Right.
Right? Well, that's my mind saying that, right? But if I learn to trust that God put it as a test for me to show that I'm still faithful,
yes,
then that was how it was intended.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's where I am.
Yeah.
I'm 100% on this beautiful, beautiful faith journey, I guess, with God.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just a walk. He's by my side.
Yes.
Through this whole journey.
100%.
So
100%.
yeah. All right. Gosh, I almost felt like that. We should just end it on that. But let me go with one more hardship, and then we will be wrapping it up.
Okay.
Oh, geez. What's a fear that still quietly influences your decisions today?
I would say I don't have fear at all, because God hasn't given me a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. But one of the things that I fear God. Okay, that's one thing. I do fear God. I fear God. But one of the things that drives me is purpose. Living on purpose. Like I said, I never want to meet the person that I should have been because I didn't take action on what I should have, because I was either too concerned about what people were going to say. And let me just tell you, I overcame that. I would call it a constraint. Okay. Because I was very, okay, let me kind of back up a little bit. Okay. Remember I told you how my biological father wasn't in my life. I feel the need to say this. He wasn't in my life. And I have a wonderful father, my dad, who raised me. Because my biological father was not in my life, growing up in the very beginning of my life, I became a people pleaser. I became a person that wanted everyone to be comfortable. I did not want to ruffle the feathers too much. I'm a very outgoing person, but I didn't want to ruffle I was thinking too much about what people think, which led to a lot of foolishness. Over the years, God has given me such an amazing understanding that he's the only one that I should please, because if I'm pleasing God, it doesn't mean that you will be pleased. It doesn't even mean that I will be pleased.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because there are certain things that God will tell us to do. Hey, move from Houston, around your family, from the house that you just purchased, from your familiarity, and move to a place that you don't know anyone. That didn't please me. I don't want to move to California. The ground shakes out here. Like, I'm not with that, But I had to learn how to please God. Well, there was an instance a few years ago where someone I really highly respected, very much highly respected, we weren't seeing eye to eye. And it was very concerning for me because there was neither one of us did anything wrong. You know what I mean? It's just how things are being interpreted in that particular season. And it really drove my identity for a little while. It really did. It really drove how I felt I could be accepted or not accepted. It felt like, I felt like I was constantly trying to prove prove that I wasn't the person that this person had come to, in their own mind, think that I was, until one day God reminded me, what somebody else thinks of you is none of your business.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. If they think that about you, it doesn't matter. What matters is what I think about you. What matters is what I have put on the inside of you, and that's all that matters,
Mm-hmm.
And so, so over the years, I've overcome, those things, but I don't want to get to a place where I find myself just surviving and not thriving, because at the end of our lives, whenever that happens, we pray that that'll happen, when we're 120, but the reality is tomorrow's not promised to anyone. And when I get before my Lord and my Savior, I want to hear him say, well done, not nice try.
Yeah, that's so beautifully stated. Yeah, I have the same sentiment, because I feel like everything that I'm doing right now is leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
But this legacy that I'm leaving is a spirit of who God is, right? And I'm trying to live out my purpose by, being, how should I say it? A vessel.
Yes.
I'm a vessel.
Yes.
You know, and I'm letting God use me however he wants me to be used. And so yeah, I think we're both in a beautiful time.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. What was this one here? Oh, what's a fear that still quietly influences your decisions today? Well, similar to your answer, I don't really have fears. I might still have anxieties, okay? But I think, I'm going to be very real here. One of the fears that I have, or I don't want to use the word fear, but whatever, it's not a fear, but the knowing that today might be my last day, right? That influences every decision that I'm making.
Right.
Because I want every moment to be a good example of how I should be living a life that God intended me to live, right? And so it's that fear, I'm going to put in air quotes, of it being the last moment. So every moment before that last moment, I'm just making sure that I'm living my best life. Yeah. And it is. It's quite interesting. But one of my staff, a few months ago, he was doing something very, very kind for one of our patients, and so at the end of the day, I acknowledged it, and he said, well, of course, Dr. Chu, I see the world through God's eyes.
Wow.
And we don't talk about religion,
Right.
but for him to share that with me, I was just like, yeah, that's how we should be living our life, right?
Yeah.
Through God's eyes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so yeah.
So good.
All right. Are there any last words that you want to say to my followers?
Oh, wow. Well, keep on watching. Chew on this. How about that? I think that you're watching this, if you made it thus far, that, God is really pulling on your heart, really pulling on your heart to be serious about him, to be serious about your relationship with him. Gone are the days where we should be squeamish or shy about our faith. The reality is that the world is very bold. They're very in your face. It's all on your Netflix. It's all on your Instagram posts. It used to be censored and all of those different things. But I mean, we don't live in a censored world. So don't censor your faith. Don't shy it down. Don't put it underneath a bushel. God is calling you to live boldly, to live on purpose, to tell your story, to live your life that is pleasing in his sight. And you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to have it all figured out, but that's the beauty of the journey. And that's the wonderful benefit that we have in our relationship with Christ, is that anytime we mess up, we can ask him for forgiveness and he forgives us. And if you're on your leadership journey, know this, that you're called for this time. You are needed. There's a need in the earth that makes your existence necessary. You're directed for this time. You're chosen for this time. And you are the person for the job. So my last word would be for you is a word that I heard years ago. Preach the gospel, and if necessary, use words.
Wow. I normally do the closing, and I think I am going to just end it with how you just ended it. Thank you so much.
Of course, my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
My honor.
And I know that you had to drive a long ways to get here and be in person, but it was also my honor to have you share this space.
Yes.
And we know that God was with us.
Yes, 100%.
100% in this podcast.
Yes,
with us.
Absolutely.
And so, all right, enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.